Hello, welcome to the weekly home down payment review. Just as a reminder, I am located in New York City. I currently live in Queens, the borough of Queens, with my daughter, and the plan is to buy a co-op in Queens as well. Now, if you know anything or heard anything about the New York City real estate market, it's a hot mess in terms of pricing. It's just extremely expensive. So this is why I have to save up a really high amount of money for a down payment, because I know probably 99.99% of everywhere else outside of New York City, having $82,000 saved for a down payment is more than enough money to actually buy a property. But unfortunately, in New York City, it is not enough to buy a property, and it's also not considered a lot of money just because of how expensive things are. In my mind, a lot of money saved for a down payment would probably be like $200,000 plus. I think anything below that is okay, not super impressive, just okay. So I know it's ridiculous and I don't like it, and okay, but I'm moving forward because I'm not going to relocate from New York City to a state that I've never been to before, even if I've been to it just to visit, just to buy a cheaper property. I know that's an advice that a lot of people like to throw out in terms of just relocate. Okay, that's not the most thoughtful answer, because you have to understand people have complex lives. So it's not just about up and moving. So for instance, my daughter is severely disabled, and living in New York City, the access to services is a lot easier. It's just easier for me to transport her because of our transportation system. So me upping and moving to Ohio is probably not the smartest thing, because the services are probably not as accessible there. And now I have to sort of carry her around in a car, so which is going to be an additional cost for me that I didn't have before. Plus, I know no one in Ohio. I've never been there before, right? So you have to kind of, plus my career, I work in finance, in the financial industry. I'm specifically in human resources, but work for an investment bank. If you think about that, there's probably a very high chance that I would not find this equivalent of a job in Ohio paying at this salary. And I know the argument could be, well, it's going to be cheaper cost of living. So even if your salary came down, again, it's sort of thinking through this in terms of like long-term sustainability. And while yes, in the immediate sense, I could say, oh, I'll just relocate to Ohio, get a job that's paying way less, sort of stagnate my career just to like buy a home. Like buying a home is not a strong enough reason for me to uproot my life, uproot my daughter's life. And there's no other reason behind it. So anyway, I know that was a bit of a tangent, but I know that's a comment that tends to get thrown out a lot when folks see just how much money you have to save up for a down payment on a property in New York City, or just how much they cost. And what I'm trying to buy is something called a co-op. So it's not even like a single family home. It would be like an apartment style space in a building with many other residents. I don't have like any type of land that I owned. So I'm really just paying for an apartment style space in a nutshell. So listen, I agree. It's ridiculous. It's just not okay. But that's the path that I am going down right now. Okay. So now that I've explained a little bit in terms of what I'm doing here, why I'm doing it, all of that good stuff, let's move into the numbers. And just quickly before I move into the numbers, I know I've said this in other videos, but I'll be bringing you along throughout the entire co-op housing buying process. So I'll be doing uploads of house tours, or should I say apartment tours, and just doing videos in terms of my experience, the different stages of the buying process, because I haven't been able to find videos on that on YouTube from real people talking about their experiences. A lot of videos from realtors about co-ops and buying co-ops and tips and things like that. But I really like videos hearing from real people because I feel like you get the most honest feedback about what the experience is actually like. So I'm going to make a series on it. So hopefully when I complete my process, or as I'm going through my process, it will help someone else just to have a better idea in terms of what is truly the financial requirement, how is the board interview, all the paperwork you have to submit. So we'll see. Should be a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to it. So we'll see. Okay, balance on the account is $82,300. Let's look at the deposits for the week. We have 3 deposits for this past week. On February 13th, I put in $200. On February 15th, I put in $1,400. And that's primarily because I got paid, so I was able to put in a bigger deposit. And then on February 17th, I put in $100. So for this past week, I was able to put in $1,700 into this account, which is just amazing. The majority of the money that I have left over for each paycheck is going towards my home down payment, just because I'm planning to buy or kick off the home buying process in fall of this year. So I just want to make sure that I'm allocating as much money as I can to this goal, but at the same time, I'm not putting as much as I could into this goal because I do have other financial priorities. So for instance, I'm trying to build up my M1 Finance brokerage account, and you can watch videos on that account because I do updates on it as well. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm putting money towards that. And then also I do put money towards my daughter's 529 plan. And that's a really high priority for me as well. So I could definitely be putting a whole lot more money into this account, but those other 2 areas that I mentioned are really, really important to me, and I don't want to sacrifice them either. So there's chunks going towards those 2 other goals, but the most money right now between those 3 goals are going towards the home down payment. Hopefully that explains something. Okay, so if we look here in terms of the target amount, we have it set at $90,000, and I am 91% towards that goal, which is awesome. So that means I'm just 9% away from $90,000 in this account. Well, thanks for joining me and listening to my little rant about New York City and why I won't relocate. And I will catch you next week. Bye.